What's up? So tonight we are on the 100, season 3. Yeah, yeah. After the ending of the last season, let's see where this season starts off. This season starts off with John Murphy of Fall characters back in that mansion that we saw at the end of season 2, and he basically starts going crazy. He starts reciting words of a movie he already played and starts going on a little bit of a starts going crazy, being trapped in that room. So he's eventually let out where he runs that where he follows the drone, which then goes to the mansion that Jaha found him in. So where Jaha's there, basically like, hey, dude, this is Ellie. And she's like, hey, you want to join the City of Light? It's basically a nice place. It's basically heaven, but you know, it's basically heaven, but he's like, yeah, no, I'm totally not into your whole plan, so I'm out of here, and goes with Amori. So the girl that he met previously. So then we cut to 3 months later for our main characters. They're looking for someone. Jasper has become super depressed and alcoholic since the death of Maya in the last season, and he's kind of like, become depressed and alcoholic since the death of Maya. So they're on a when they run into the grounders, where they're like, yeah, they're looking for Clark, who now goes by one Heda, the commander of death. So then we cut to Clark, who now has red hair and is hunting animals. Yeah, and she has a girlfriend who Clark goes to this place run by one of her girlfriends, Mila, one of her girlfriends. Yeah, and she and Mila totally make out. But then that night, Clark gets attacked by one of the Yank Nation, and Clark's hair immediately turns from red, brown to blondish pink in a immediate of hours. That is one of the most bad errors I've ever seen. How can her hair just goes from reddish blonde to blondish to reddish to red hair to blondish to blonde hair in a matter of seconds. She doesn't dye it back. It's just randomly the guy she get captured by one of the Ice Nation people while she has red hair, and immediately next shot her hair is back to being blonde again. Like, huh? Writers, you should have thought of it better. You could have just said, why'd you have blonde hair almost immediately? Like, if it was immediately, like, next episode, and I understand. But no, this is in episode 1. And she immediately goes from reddish red hair to blonde hair in a matter of seconds. So while looking for Clark, the guys run into some other people, who is Monty's mom and a guy who used to be a teacher at the Ark named Pike. He is literally the worst. So yeah, he's literally the worst character. Yeah, so he's like, oh hey guys, so basically here's what happens is that Abby is like, hey Kane, I don't want to be the chancellor anymore, I'm giving it to you. And immediately he's just like, hey Pike, I want you to have the position. And everyone votes for Pike to be the new chancellor. And he proposes as his first rule of the chancellor is to attack the grounders. Because he's anti-grounder and the show really wants to redo season 1 again. I don't know why they're trying to redo season 1. We already had season 1's plot against the Grounders, but season 3 is like, yes, we'll have Pike, the new character who we've never seen before, literally want to restart the war with the Grounders that we already did back in season 1. And Bellamy's kind of turned into a major jerk. He literally wants to attack the Grounders again because he didn't learn his lesson in season 1. He wants to just attack Grounders again because Pike's the chancellor and he has to follow Pike's orders. So Lincoln's like, yo, I don't stand for this. So they're like, yo, throw him in containment. Because Bellamy is literally the worst this season. I don't get what's up with this first half and trying to redo season 1. Anyway, back with Clark, who has blondish pink hair. Don't know why they literally did that. Clark gets taken by the guy and gets knocked out. So he reveals that he has to bring her to the commander, who's literally Lexa. So Lexa takes Clark, and Clark's like, "Yo, I'm not forgiving you after you tried to abandon us all in Mount Weather. So, bye." But yeah. But Lexa's like, "Hey, Clark, let's forgive each other." So Clark's like, "Sure," but they have no idea what's going on. So meanwhile, Lincoln and Octavia are just walking out when they see all of the people that are supposed to attack the ground. They have been massacred, leaving Indra, that's her name, Indra, the only one alive. So it's revealed that Pike and Bellamy basically murdered all the Grounders, because this is literally just season 1 redone. This is literally just the season 1 plot rehashed again. I don't know why they're doing this. This is literally just season 1 again. Why are you really trying to do this again? So meanwhile, Jaha comes back to camp, which has been literally redubbed Arcadia, because guess what? They named Jaha to honor Camp Jaha to honor him. Now they find out he's not dead. They literally renamed camp to Arcadia. So I'm gonna call it Arcadia. Jaha returns to Arcadia and is like, "Hey guys, if you take this blue pill, it will totally relieve your pain." Yes, he's literally being a drug addict he's trying to be a sponsor, trying to literally say, "Hey guys, if you take my drug, it will totally relieve your pain." So Raven's like, "I have a broken leg, I'll take it," and she starts seeing Allie. But the side effect is that if you take the drug, you start to lose the memory of your pain, which means that she's starting to lose any of her memories of Finn. So she starts to realize, Allie is kind of evil. But then Allie possesses Raven, and then they have Clark's mom captured. So they're like, "Yo, Clark's mom, we either hurt Raven or you take the pill." So Clark's mom takes the key pill. She turns chipped and evil for a bit, for the entire season. So yeah. So meanwhile, and also Jaha gave it. Then Clark's mom starts giving it to everyone. So they're all. And then the show turns it into a cult, like the Cult of Allie or something. So meanwhile, back with Titus, who's played by Clifford DeVoe, the Thinker from The Flash. A year before he would start playing Thinker on The Flash, he's like, "Hey Clark, I don't like it that you are driving away Alexa's time." So after Alexa and Clark just left together, he tries to kill Clark, but then Alexa takes the bullet. So Alexa dies, and they find this AI thing in her head, and it's revealed that in the flashback, Becca basically, the first AI, Allie, was starting to destroy the world. So Becca basically decided to create a second AI to basically save the world. So that's when she came across the Grounders, and that's when she was known as the first commander. The first commander. So with Alexa dead, they have to find a new command with Alexa. But before that, Alexa had a battle with Rowan's son, Rowan's mom, and killed her. So now the Ice Nation's pretty mad, and when they find out that Alexa's dead, they're mad at Clark because they think Clark killed his mom. So this new person named Mori takes charge, but Clark's like, "Yeah, she wasn't fully indicted, so she's actually not head up," but she lies to the people. Well, Murphy's just here because he was kidnapped by Titus. And was beaten, but Clark, so he now helps out Mori. Anyway, so yeah. But Alexa tells her to find Luna, but that's when Jasper takes Raven, and Clark's like, "Hey, I need to find Lincoln." But meanwhile with Lincoln, we have him being captured, and he forms a coup with everyone to be so yeah, he forms a little, resistance with everyone, but he lets everyone. So he electrocutes Pike. Pike, but Bellamy sees right through this and captures him. But then what happens is that they let him they send Pike to death, but Bellamy and Monty are starting to realize, are we really doing the right thing? Even though Monty's mom is like, yeah, you are. So they decide to get as Lincoln stays behind, and Lincoln gets shot by Lincoln, I guess. So Jasper has to back to that scene. Jasper has to tell Clark that Lincoln's dead. Octavia's obviously pretty mad at Bellamy for literally. This is the only reason why they're in this mess is because of him. So literally, I was mad at Bellamy too. So they literally let Pike so they capture Pike and let him into the Grounders. But so Amori and John decide to get a little do the dirty scene. That she literally pulls him by the chain and literally, pulls the chain. So meanwhile, back with it, they go back to Arcade. Literally. So they have to, so they decide to come up with a plan to basically execute the AI out. They basically stab Raven, which causes, since they, electrocute her, the AI, drains out of her body, basically, meaning that Raven's back normal. So they go back to Arcadia to basically discover that everyone's kind of missing now. Meanwhile, so they clash with Emerson because, he was kidnapped by the he was kidnapped by the Ice Nation, but and he was gonna get killed by Clark. Clark decided not to kill him, so now he's wanting to kill Clark now. Clark decided to use the little AI thing on him, which causes him to blow up and die. So bye bye Emerson. So Jaha appears at Polaris, that's where they've been staying, and decides to be, and Amori's also now taken the chip and taken the key, and now she's been chipped to be under Allie's control. It's so confusing, I know. And so they said, so she says, I'm his lover, and she's like, oh yeah, you lied about that, no wonder what you lied about. So they tell him to capture him. Meanwhile, he's like, hey, you want to take the chip? And then it's revealed that she did, because Allie's sitting on the throne. So now Amori's under Allie's control. This is so confusing. So season 3 is the most confusing season of the show. So what happens is that Clark decided to go find Luna, who's played by Magnus actress from season 11 of The Walking Dead. Weird that they got Magna in here, but she's got better on here than she's in The Walking Dead, at least. Sorry, Magna in The Walking Dead. I know it's Carol, but I had to point in my calendar to say she's on the show. So anyway, she's like, there's no way I'm doing this. So Pike is now a good guy, so he decides to help John and the others escape. He's a good guy now. Literally, he was a bad guy in the first half, but now in the second half, he's randomly a good guy. So Monty's mom shows up and he's like, hey, she reveals that she's been chipped by Allie, so she tries to convince her son to take the chip, but it all turns into a big battle with Octavia, where she tries to kill Octavia. So Monty has to forcibly kill his mom, and to basically save his friend. And he's obviously heartbroken about it. They had to kill his mom. R.I.P. Monty's mom, Hannah. That was her name. I decided to call her Monty's mom. She's kind of evil, but I'm glad they're no longer rehashing that Grounder plot line anymore. That was such a weird rehash. So yeah. Anyway, they decided to basically be like, hey, work. So yeah, so Raven decided to basically blow up Allie's server, but Allie tricks Monty into thinking his mom's there, but they do it. But Allie basically deletes all the code, so there. And Monty gets a little unhappy with Raven, basically be like, hey, I told you to wait for Clark and the others, but you literally sucked me into doing this, so I'm mad at you now. And yeah, so so they have a plan to basically so they basically have a plan. Their plan is they basically have a plan, and their plan is to basically go and try to save everyone, because if they destroy Allie's server, they destroy Allie. But then so Kane just tried to stop Jaha, but he put him on a cross, and he forced him to say, hey, if you don't take the pill, I'll kill Abby. So Kane's now a part of Jaha's chipped army. So yeah. So immediately upon getting there, so they try to threaten Clark, but fakingly, of course, because he's on their team. But then Jaha shows up and is like, hey Clark, I'm bad guy now. And he's like, you are? He's like, yep. And he's like, so he's like, hey, where's the Mori? And he's like, yeah, but then King shoots Rohan anyway. So Clark, Meanwhile, we get the longest search for Clark ever. They get captured, and John's like, hey, you're a good guy. And he's like, and then Octavia's like, wait a minute, your team got Pike? Because she's so obviously mad at Pike for killing Lincoln. She's obviously still mad at Pike for killing Lincoln. So it's the longest search for Clark ever, as they try to Indra and Kane survive. So they totally climb up there. Meanwhile, they totally climb up there. So meanwhile, Clark is totally getting stabbed by her mom, and she's like, hey, take the pill. But Clark's like, yeah, never. So she's like, okay, I'll just let Allie hang her. So she hangs herself, and Clark, and she's like, and Allie's like, she will break. And it's just like, you're a robot. So they break in, they save her, but Clark's able to use an EMP device to basically remove the AI from her mom. So her mom's back normal, but Amori's dying because Jaha knocked her over the head really hard before Bellamy shot it out of his hand. So Amori's brain dead now. Meanwhile, meanwhile, we just cut to, Clark somewhere else. They captured Jaha and the others off screen and tied them up off screen. So Clark decides that she will become the new commander of the Grounders. She just needs some blood. But Clark decides it's happening. But Clark decides that to destroy Allie, she'll have to go inside the City of Light. So she takes the pill. Meanwhile, Jasper was revealed. Meanwhile, back on Arcadia, Jasper, who was basically secretly chipped when June was being tortured, he decides to stab Monty because he's evil now, randomly. He's evil now apparently. So Clark decides to go into a Matrix style place. That's what Clark is. So but then Raven notices that Allie knows where Clark is. So Clark is being beat up until randomly Lexa shows up out of the blue and saves Clark. Who knows why and how she somehow got into the City of Light? Who knows? She's just here now, and she's somehow here now. Also, Titus was killed. I forgot to mention that, but they don't bring him back. No, he's on the Flash now. So anyway, so she decides to be Clark's Morpheus, while Clark is Neo, but Clark is feeling the effects of and she starts spazzing out until they decide to cut open Amori's heart, killing Amori. So Amori's dead now, and yeah, but then they're confronted by Jasper and a bunch of Jaha people. So that's when Raven decides to open a door for Clark, and Alexa just jumps into attack, and we don't see it. So I guess that's the end of her. And Clark goes into where she meets Becca, but Becca's like, "Hey, this thing is the only thing that can stop Allie." But Allie shows up and is like, "Hey, Clark, if you pull that lever on Earth, there's a bunch of military grades that are about to melt down. That will in 6 months will cause the second nuclear crisis." So Clark's Meanwhile, Joaquin and the others are fighting other people. That is a big battle. It's a big battle, man. So what happens is that basically, so Clark's like, "Hey, maybe she's right," but Becca's like, "No, Emily was designed to basically be nice, but she thinks she's destroying people, taking away their pain, and she thinks she's designed to do that." So Clark's like, "Yeah, whatever this nuclear apocalypse is, we'll face it together," and presses the thing, basically destroying Allie and Becca for good. So everyone who was on Allie's control now starts to feel pain, and now everyone's back to normal. But Amori's still dead. But so now everyone, like Jaha, he starts feeling pain. Kane starts feeling pain. But for the final blow, even though Pike saves Octavia stabs Pike for basically murdering her boyfriend, which he deserves. He was probably gonna die anyway because he literally murdered her boyfriend. So that's what you get, Pike. You don't get to murder Lincoln on my show and get to live. Ha. Bye, Pike. See you never. So yeah, and Octavia just walks away slowly as Clark's talking to Bellamy. He's like, "I was gone for you did," and she's like, "Nah." So meanwhile, they're like, "Did Clark did?" And Jasper's like, "Yeah, she did." She's like, and he starts sobbing and feeling pain. He's like, "I'm sorry I stabbed you." So he's like, "I'm sorry." As he goes out to battle alcohol, goes out to get a bottle of alcohol, and they cut to him doing something which we'll probably not get to know until season 4. Yeah, so now there's a nuclear apocalypse on our hands. Everyone's starting feeling pain, and that's kind of where season 3 ends. Season 3 is kind of one of those weird seasons. I feel like the second half was way better than the first half. Like, the first half was basically just them rehashing the same thing we did in season 1 with Pike now. And I don't like that one bit. I don't like that at all. They're like, "Oh yeah, Clark's hair miraculously changing from red to orange to blonde was random." And they literally don't even bring it up again how she did that. Her is just blonde for the rest of the season. That is miraculously dumb. And maybe we'll get to learn more about Luna. All we know is that her friend got chipped and she was forced to kill him, but she still knocked out Clark and the gang anyway. Who knows if she'll be back in season 4. Just, this season was weird. I liked the second half way better. I felt the second half was getting interesting, but the first half, I didn't like that much. It just felt like the show was trying to rehash season 1 with the whole Pike trying to go against the Grounder and Bellamy trying to go do his Chancellor thing and be with his Chancellor by also attacking the Grounder, which came complete with Octavia. And also Sinclair was killed by Emerson. I forgot to mention that. And it's just, the season not the I like it. I like the second half way better than the first half. Just gonna say it. The first half kind of was really weird, but the second half was really good. Allie was a frustrating character. Come on with this whole, we gotta get everyone like this felt like a don't do drugs kid kind of season because literally that's what everyone was doing, their own drugs that mind controlled them and made them forget who they are and their memories of their losses. Literally, that's this season, the little drug season. Wow, I liked it. I don't care what Rotten Tomato score says it did really poorly, but I think it was one of my favorite seasons. The first half wasn't all that good, but wow, did the second half improve on the first half faults. Because I loved the second half. The second half just felt really good. It didn't feel anything bad. So, where will season 4 fall? Hopefully we're going to Walking Dead season 4 territory where it's pretty bad. Please 100. Please 100. Please season 4. Please be really good. Because now we're dealing with the whole nuclear apocalypse in 6 months type deal. So anyway, that's it for this video. And we'll see you next time when we review more 100. Also, why didn't Jasper? His whole thing of he said he was going to get some alcohol, and then he holds on the ground, and then that's the end of his scene. What's going to happen to him? So anyway, Allie was a frustrating villain. Mount Weather literally got blown up. Bellamy's girlfriend, which he literally had this season, got blown up by an Ice Nation person. Forgot to mention that Bellamy had a girlfriend this season named Gina, who literally was stabbed by an Ice Nation person from the Ice Nation, who then proceeded to blow up Mount Weather because they moved the people to Mount Weather. But then Abby was thinking of making a Mount Weather clinic, which I feel like they should have. My dad said to me, he said they should have just stuck to Mount Weather from the beginning. There was no reason for them to leave it to begin with. The throats were gone. Like, why? Why would you leave it? I don't get it. The threats were gone. They took out Cage and all the mountain men. They took out all of them. So why didn't they stay? I guess Jasper, he questioned why they were moving there because his whole thing with Maya. I don't know why 3 months literally didn't help him improve it. He really liked the girl. He knew for like a month or a week or how long Mount Weather was. That we will never know. But yeah, that's season 3. The second half is way better. But Allie, she was really getting on my nerves. I really wanted her to get destroyed, and she did. I'm glad that Clark did, because I kind of wish the destroying Allie button was was a lever, like the same big lever she did to release all the radiation in Mount Weather. Kind of weird that they literally had the exact same big lever type machine to kill all the main bad guy people, like in season 2. That was a little confusing, but yeah. That was it for my review of season 3. Hopefully season 4 is better, but that's it for me.